we're going to look at how to write an equation for the median. What I have up here are your steps that you would need to follow and memorize and know how to use when applying finding the median on the coordinate plane. If you want to go ahead and pause the video at this time, you can, so you can record the steps. When you come back, I'm going to go straight into making sure we understand the definition and applying the steps on this example that we have here. So, because we are finding the midpoint, we have to understand it has to go through the median. Since we're finding the median, sorry. It has to go through the midpoint of a side, and it has to connect to the opposite vertex. So we're just going to apply the definition. Since we are using a median, or writing the equation of the median, the first thing we have to do is find that midpoint. So again, we're going to go ahead and graph the given points. We had a -4, 1, and then we had 2, 7. Let's find the graph on this one. And then we had 4, new point, 4, -3. Alright, so we have A, B, C. Make sure you label when you're using coordinate geometry and using the coordinate plane. So I'm going to construct or create lines to connect the points, hopefully to get a better read. Might need to move that one. There we go. We want a line. Are you moving? Oh, because this went off. Alright, so now I'm going to do a line from C to D. Touch. C to A. About right there. Okay, so since we're going to do to the side AB, I can physically see that that midpoint is right here at -1,4. -1,4 is the midpoint. Now, I'm going to basically draw my median by connecting from the midpoint to the opposite vertex. The opposite, this is my midpoint, the opposite vertex from the side A, B, and C. So I'm going to draw a line from, let me get this right. Go ahead and construct it like I normally would. There we go. Got our median. And we want to find the slope of that median. So the easiest way to find the slope is just go ahead and count the rise over run. Well, I can see that this slope is decreasing from left to right, so it's going to be a negative slope. Know that much. So I'm just going to go ahead and count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is a -7/5. Now, I would repeat for the other two sides. Well, let's go ahead and get into the equation of the median. Since to write the equation of the median of side AB, we're going to use the 2 points to write the equation of the median. Or basically, use the midpoint and use the slope of the median. Because then I can put it into point slope form. So this would be y minus 4 equals a -7/5 parentheses x plus 1. And then we're going to go ahead and solve for y. Just to recap, but it doesn't really specify, so we could technically leave it as that. Let's go ahead and leave it at that instead of solving for y. So there's my equation for my median. Now, if I repeat for the other two sides, then I would have to find the midpoint of BC. The midpoint of BC, if I look, and I can probably see this one on the graph. It looks like it's at 3, 2. 1, 2, yeah. So there's that midpoint. I should have put my tick mark so you could see that. Apologize for that. So the midpoint of BC is at 3, 2. And then I would have to create my median by connecting that midpoint to its opposite vertex, which would be at A. So if I construct the median, so I'm going to go from this midpoint to the vertex A. And that will allow me to find the slope. So I can just count the rise over run, and that means the slope. Oh, I need a pen. There we go. The slope of my midpoint. Let's go ahead and label this midpoint E. So I'm going to go the slope of EA would be 1/7. Okay. And then I would repeat for the remaining side, which is side AC. Excuse me. AC's midpoint. I can think I physically see that, and that is at 0, -1. I'm going to go ahead and label that midpoint. Let's go ahead and label it. Let's do D. I haven't used that letter yet. So I need 3 tick marks. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. So AC midpoint is at 0, -1, and then I need to find the slope of that median, and that median would be. Let me get. Median would be from that point D to the opposite vertex, which would be B, as such. And then I will find that slope by just counting the rise over run. And it looks like it is, yeah, wait. I think it's 4. Yeah, 4/1. So the slope from D to B is 4. Now, to find the centroid, this is going to be some new information. We have a formula that we can use to find the centroid. The centroid is the average of the 3 coordinates. Okay, so you can use the formula that I'm giving you here to find that centroid. Instead of using a system of equations, you can take the average of the 3 coordinates. So since I have the midpoints listed here, we have the midpoint here. Oops. Let me get my highlighter. I apologize for that. But we have the midpoint for AB. We had the midpoint for BC, and we had the midpoint for AC. So I have all my x coordinates, and I'm just gonna plug it into the formula. When I plug it into the formula, basically I'm gonna have -1 plus 3 plus 0. I'll go ahead and plug that in. Divided by 3, and then the y coordinates would be 4 plus 2 plus a -1 divided by 3. And then when I simplify that, I would get, this would be 2/3, and we would get, that would be 6 minus 1, that would be 5/3. So my coordinates would be 2/3 and 5/3. All right, so that is your video and your step for the median.